You're listening to a News OK podcast.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the News OK Comics podcast, hosted at Planet46.com. I'm Matt Price. This is Kyle Roberts. Kyle, what's going on this week?
You know, Kick-Ass came out, and you talked to John Romita Jr.
That's right. Yeah, Kick-Ass, the movie directed by Matthew Vaughn, was based on the comic book by Mark Millar and John Romita Jr. And I talked to him a little bit about how he and Mark came up with the idea for Kick-Ass.
The tandem, the two of us working together, worked out so well that we got along professionally as well as socially. And he said, at some point, let's do something else. And I said, which characters? He says, let's create it ourselves. And that's where we got to. And then he came up to me, he called me, and then via email told me he had this idea, which was Kick-Ass in its infancy, and then it developed from there.
And so now he says he's hard at work on Kick-Ass 2. He was drawing the first issue when I talked to him, and that's the sequel, and they anticipate that may also be a movie. Following that, the book he did for Image is going to come to Icon. It's called The Gray Area. It's about a police officer, kind of a shady police officer who dies and then is working as a police officer of Purgatory.
Wow.
That's going to come out from Icon. And then he's doing another creator-owned series with writer Howard Chaykin. It's going to be called Schmuggy and Bimbo, about two leg breakers set back in the 1940s, I believe. And he says he's also would someday like to work on Marvel's character Doctor Strange.
Before I finish, I would like to try Doctor Strange. I really would. I think that's an interesting character. It's never been an A-list character, but neither was Daredevil, but Daredevil got a movie. I think Doctor Strange has so much room for wild special effect visuals that I think that and now 3D, the advent of 3D, I think if it's done properly, it should be a great film. But I'd like to try a series with a guy like Neil Gaiman, or any other really wild and visual writer. There's something about that character that just brings out the best in me, and I have a couple of ideas. But again, it's never been an A-list character, so it would be an interesting attempt.
All right, well, that is very cool. In other news, Smallville, Blue Beetle is going to be on.
That's right. Yeah, there's a whole host of new characters that we're going to see on Smallville, including Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, and then just announced Shayera, who in the comics is Hawkgirl. We don't know if she'll be Hawkgirl in the series or just Shayera, the Hawkman love interest. And also Deadshot. They announced that Sahar Bianaz, maybe saying that wrong, is going to play Shayera. She is a very attractive actress who I believe also did some modeling and work in beauty pageants. And then the guy from your show, the OC, is going to play Deadshot. Floyd Lawton. Floyd Lawton is the name of Deadshot. It'll be played by Bradley Stryker.
And Warner Brothers Interactive announced Batman Arkham Asylum. They're going to make a second one.
Yep, it's going to be called Batman Arkham City. It'll be available for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, PC, and the criminally insane of Gotham City have sort of been sequestered or taken up in this one part of Gotham City. And so I guess Batman has to go in there and, punch and kick.
Which is similar, but kind of the total opposite, because Arkham Asylum they're all just kind of trapped in this, dark prison.
Yeah, so it sounds like this is going to expand it out some. And of course, it was a fantastic game, beautiful looking, maybe the best comics game I've ever played. I mean, it's right up there.
It was very fun.
So, all right, very good. Well, from Batman to Superman, let's look at the review file.
Sweet.
Superman, the Last Family of Krypton. This is a 3-issue Elseworlds miniseries. They don't do as many Elseworlds as they used to, but it's sort of alternate takes on what might have happened in DC history. And in this one, by Cary Bates, Jor-El manages to save his whole family, Jor-El, Lara, and Kal-El, and they land on Earth. And this is kind of like what happened if Superman's whole family had landed on Earth instead of just Superman as a baby. How would Earth's history have been different? How would life have been different for Kal-El? What might Jor-El and Lara have done living on Earth? So I thought it was fun. If you're a Superman fan, you kind of like to see little twists on Superman history. They managed to work in some classic Superman lines while giving you a taste of what might be different. So I enjoyed it.
All right, next Shadowland, 2 of 5.
That's
we
right.
talked about this first one. Daredevil basically just killed Bullseye.
Yeah, Daredevil is something's gone wrong. He's been leading the Hand, and it's sort of like I guess it's been sort of a long-term maybe corruption of Daredevil. Andy Diggle, Billy Tan. It's they're a good creative team, and I think it's about as gritty as you're going to get, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this a lot. Daredevil in this comic just has gone crazy. He's just completely nuts. So, I guess the judge, jury, and executioner part of him just really taken off and just kind of gone nuts. And that's kind of basically what's going on in this comic.
All right, part of the Heroic Age, Captain America, number 608. The first two were kind of setting up this new storyline, and then it really kicks into high gear with this one. This is Ed Brubaker and Butch Guice. Of course, as we know, the new Captain America is Bucky Barnes, Captain America's former sidekick, who in the 50s, 60s was the Winter Soldier, this Russian assassin who they had brainwashed and brought out of stasis for certain missions. So what happens if that knowledge becomes public? What happens to Captain America? Who's behind the scenes pulling the strings? Things really kick into high gear in this issue, and I think Brubaker, it is maybe had been biding his time a little bit after all the Captain America Reborn stuff, but now it really is pushed back into high gear. Worth checking this one out.
Sweet.
And then we'll wrap it up with Magnus Robot Fighter, bringing back the 1960s Gold Key character. He was also a big hit in the 90s for Valiant. That was written by Jim Shooter. This is written by Jim Shooter. Artist is Bill Reinhold. It has kind of an old school feel to it, and there's also a Russ Manning strip in the back from sort of the classic Russ Manning period of Magnus Robot Fighter. Kind of retro. I liked it. I'm going to see where it goes. So if you're a fan of the Valiant days by Jim Shooter, he's back on the book again.
And there are a ton of pages in this comic.
Yeah, it's huge. It's 350 and it's 56 pages. Maybe it's quite a few. It's got the new story and the backup story from the original run.
Sweet. What's your pick?
I'm going to go with Captain America.
Sweet. I'll go with Shadowland too.
All right, very good. So come back next week for more movie, TV, and comics news. For Kyle Roberts, I'm Matt Price. Thanks for watching.